Hi and welcome to Advice Accreditation Bureau, the comedy podcast that believes everyone has advice, just not all of it is good. My name is Andy Prokopis and today I'm joined by a comedian who is a former high school English teacher, a Korean food aficionado and a cartoonist. We've caught him just as he's about to head off to Edinburgh. Please welcome Harry Jun.
Hi.
Hey mate, how are you?
So good. I'm very excited for this tour. I'm super into giving advice. No, not really.
Well, so by the time this goes to air, you're probably halfway through your tour. So you
true.
Sell out shows.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, I need you for the bank, but I don't know if that'll happen.
Yeah.
But it's all about the experience, mate.
Yeah. And it is inside jokes, outside voice.
That's right.
Yeah, great. Yeah, inside jokes, outside voice. And I was saying it to myself, and I was like, inside voice, inside jokes. Inside.
It's funny because like even it's been like put up wrong in some venue,
has it?
but it's like whatever.
They've got one job.
Well, it's also I don't care. It's like it's not. I'm not really. It's not crucial to the whole thing. But I get it. It just was funny to me, the whole idea of inside joke. And I'm loud, so
great.
That's why I made the title. But
Yeah, nice. What's your writing process when you're pulling together an hour?
So I am not one of those comics that is word for word. I have sometimes a funny idea will happen or something's funny to me and I write it down on my phone and then I have to go on stage and piece it together.
Yeah.
Which is sometimes tragic because when you lose a bit of your confidence and it's because you haven't presented the idea very well the first time.
Sure.
But then that'll just kill an idea. Even though it's something funny, you could, really get a good joke out of it. But sometimes you're really the horse is bolted. It's gone already. I could have done it better, but I need to go on stage, try the joke out. And then if I always record every performance and I listen back and if it's people like that one, I then go into writing it out.
Yeah, great.
And then I keep testing.
Yeah, nice. Do you do the sneaky before even it hits the stage with friends and your fiance and?
Oh, sometimes I'm trying to get better at making sure I write it down. Something that comes up a bit impromptu and a casual conversation. I'm trying to get better at writing that down and then trying to reuse it on stage. But it tends to never go well for me.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am guilty of doing that, and people are starting to clock me doing that. You're working out a bit right now, aren't you?
Well, oh, you mean when you're in the? Oh,
yeah. If I just casually, what do we think about this?
Yeah, that's funny. That's so funny.
Yeah.
It's hard though because you want it to be natural on stage. You want it it's the best sort of arena for testing that thing is just being with mates and then trying it out. But it's funny that your friends are calling you out.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, so you're expecting me to be funny in this conversation and then create a full set or hour separate to what we're currently talking about.
No, you're trying to be efficient. Exactly. I like that. It's
too much it's double handling.
Exactly, yeah.
Brilliant. And so inside jokes, outside voice. Yes. I'm gonna fuck it up before we're through. But
it's all good.
What's it about?
So the whole thing centers around in my high school. Did you go to high school in Sydney?
No, Brisbane.
Oh, Brisbane. Oh, well, it was a national thing. I don't know if you remember this thing called Rock Eisteddfod. Yeah.
You're talking to a gay kid.
Yeah.
That is
my school in 2006 did Rock Eisteddfod.
Yeah.
And this sort of goes whole into the inside joke thing because I love inside jokes because it's a joke that's only funny to a specific group of people.
Yep.
So when I retell this Rock Eisteddfod thing, in 2006, I went to high school in Wollongong, so white, no Koreans or no Asians or anything, but our very white school, our Rock Eisteddfod, which is this beautiful sort of dance, almost interpretive dance thing to a theme with pop music. And each school sort of elects a theme.
Yep.
My very white high school in 2006 chose the theme Tibet Roof of the World, which is supposed to narrate the Tibetan genocide by the Chinese army. So I need you to imagine in your minds a bunch of white kids, and they could only play two roles, Andy.
Yeah.
They could either be Tibetan or Chinese.
So I'm trying to get, because there was a very key moment in Australian history, and that is Harry Connick Jr. on Red Faces.
Oh,
Where
yes.
blackface was acceptable
Yeah.
up until that point because no one knew that it was wrong.
Yeah.
And so I think that was before 2006.
Yes, it
so
was.
So there wasn't any blackface happening in the Wollongong Rock Eisteddfod.
No, there was not.
Okay, cool.
No. But the whole thing was like crazy.
Yeah.
And it was also like Rock Eisteddfod, and it's funny because like I poke fun at it, but Rock Eisteddfod it was an incredible sort of production. Like all the teachers and the staff and like kids put so much effort into it. And it was a competition. Like you'd get to the national, like if you won the national sort of level, it would get televised and it was like massive. And you know, I present this thing as being like, this was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Very inappropriate, very weird.
Yeah.
But back in 2006, my high school won Rock Eisteddfod.
Wow. and just to kind of course correct myself, when I say black, I meant cultural appropriation,
Yes.
not necessarily blackface.
No,
But yeah,
no,
sorry.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been
But
yellow
yeah,
face
sure,
back.
yellow
yeah.
face, exactly. Yeah. So, but yeah, just to
Yeah.
clarify, I know where Tibet is.
But it gets so the show sort of centers around that, but then also like it gets even more ridiculous. Like back then we won Rock Eisteddfod, but then also it got to the point where the Dalai Lama found out, and he was so impressed that he flew all the way to Sydney and hosted a private like meeting with my high school and his like entourage and himself. So I got to meet the Dalai Lama.
Oh, incredible. So was the meeting of like, I want to see this performance, or the meeting was, you shouldn't really be doing this?
No, he was very pro, like, you know, because back then, like, people didn't know what was going on. Like,
Yeah,
it was,
sure.
and so any sort of like activism around it, he was very supportive of.
Yeah, great.
So he was very happy. And so, but he also hadn't seen it. But look, it was a different time, and like, I mean, not to give away the show, but like that's where the show sort of like grew, the whole show grew around that initial story. And I had so much fun sort of like writing it and performing it. And I really can't wait to do it in Edinburgh.
Awesome. And have you ever seen Sister Act?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like as soon as you said the Dalai Lama came to see it, I immediately had flashbacks of the Pope going to say.
Yeah, it's also what I love about Rock Eisteddfod. And when I do the show, I like in Australia, like I ask people, you know, do you guys know Rock Eisteddfod? And like sometimes I'll get people like, oh, you know, they do this reaction because it was like it's a product of its time.
Yeah.
Like we don't really have that now, I guess.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't really sort of be the same because now with social media, like, you know, anyone can be like a pop star, like not to denigrate.
Sure. Yeah.
But back then, I remember being a high school kid and like so many kids were like, this is like everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And my first shot at being like an entertainer.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah. We didn't do Rock Eisteddfod. Brisbane had something, our school took part in something called a Warana parade.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I was in that, and then I did all like the school musicals, like there was one dance, and I remember it. It was to Funky Granola Sweet, and at the front, there were only girls.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm like, I want to be one of the dancers
Up front. Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, it's just the girls. And I was a pioneer.
Oh, and you made it.
Yep.
Incredible.
Yep. In a female dominated industry.
You were like, no.
I
Let's
broke that
skew
glass
the
ceiling.
There's too many women. You need more men up front.
Yeah, exactly.
Male representation.
It's important.
That's awesome. Do you have any like footage of any of that stuff?
So there's potentially However, a lot of the old videos of our childhood, we lost it in the Brisbane floods. Yeah, so we don't know what we've got and what we don't have.
That's so tragic.
Yeah, so look, people lost a lot more
Yes, of course.
in the floods, but like from a sentimental perspective, that's the thing I'm just really upset about.
Yeah,
There's stuff like that, so I might do.
It'd be
but-
cool. Yeah, it'd be cool to pull up. Like that's the other thing with the whole inside jokes. Like for my show, where there is a sense of like I talk about how I like inside jokes so much because you know it's you don't really, they're super efficient. An inside joke, you don't really need a setup.
Totally.
You just need a punchline.
Yeah.
Like the setup is friendship. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like the setup is social, like community and stuff. And
Yeah.
there's something about sharing an experience and then like, you know, a year down the line, you hang out with a mate again. Like if my high school mates come up to me and they say Dalai Lama, I piss my pants. 'Cause that's our inside joke. I just remember Rock Eisteddfod. It's crazy. 20 years ago, high school kids from Wollongong met the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
So I do like, and also I guess when I think about how I want to do comedy, and I'm always like trying to shape it and learn. For me, like that emotional side of it is got to be fused with it. Like it's good to obviously make people laugh and like, you know, sometimes people want to get away from feeling like feelings. They just want to laugh, and I get that. But for my own shows, I like to imbue it with a bit of feeling.
Yeah.
And this one's very like nostalgia core, I would say,
Yeah,
is the feeling.
Beautiful. I have a similar approach to comedy as well. And whenever I'm writing, or if I was to describe how like my style of comedy, are you a Simpsons fan, or were you? Yeah.
big
So
time.
the Professor Frink, he'll make you laugh, he'll make you think.
Yeah.
And that's like every single time. That's yeah. Yeah. But I like absolutely love that, and it's good. Obviously, good to make people laugh, but just have that underlying meaning and to it as well.
Yeah.
Would the Dalai Lama be the most famous person you've met?
Yeah, I reckon like in terms of like it just icons, like, you know, it's the Dalai Lama.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I feel like he is definitely number one. And also just at an age where like I didn't really even embrace the gravity of the situation.
Totally.
Like, because I remember like parents of the kids, because it was like the students who were in the performance were invited to this meeting, and the students and the parents, and like my parents came, and I don't think they took any photos of me with the Dalai Lama. Like, it's just like, well, I mean, not that it matters. Like, I still have the experience of that, but I didn't really like realize how momentous
Just
a
that
situation was.
Yeah.
To meet the Dalai Lama.
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Like, but if anything, it's taught you a lesson of being present in the moment.
Which is his thing. Like he's
that's his
very,
thing.
he's very into that. But do you, who would you say your most famous person that you've met is?
So I have two answers.
What?
So I've met Beyonce,
Oh,
but it was in a meet and greet, and so like it was like it's like seeing an endangered animal at the zoo.
Oh,
like,
I see. Yeah. It's specific. Yeah.
There's Beyonce.
It's contrived or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I was expecting to go and see Beyonce.
Yes.
And so whilst she's probably the most famous person I've ever met,
Yeah.
it doesn't have the same feeling as when I met Victoria Beckham.
Wait,
which
tell
was
me
out
this.
in the wild.
What happened
Yeah,
here?
so it was hilarious. So I was living in London at the moment, and a friend of mine who's in musical theatre, or was in musical theatre at the time, was visiting from Australia, and he had friends who worked on the West End or performed on the West End. And so we then went out with that group. They were performing Chicago at the time. Went out to that group to like a members club, and we got word that Victoria Beckham was in the restaurant, like on the next level, and so we're like, let's go and have dinner up in the restaurant, and we went up, and like none of us could afford dinner at this restaurant, so we just got a couple of drinks, and we were sitting there. and we were at the table next to Victoria Beckham, and we were like kind of just doing this. Anyway, she gets up, like, and leaves. It's the end of the night, and she'd had a few drinks at this point.
Yeah.
And she could tell that we were just gawking at her, and she walks up to us and says, "Hello, I'm Victoria. Nice to meet you," and puts her hand out.
Classy.
Yeah, and introduced herself. And then my mate just goes, "We're from Australia and we love you." I'm like, in this like real exclusive members club, just full bogan. And she was saying something like over and over again, and it was a bit loud, and she had the accent, and we were drunk and she was drunk, but we couldn't quite make it out. But what she was saying was, "Did you see Mel as well?" And the whole time she was with Melanie C.
no.
And we just didn't even clock that she was with Melanie C.
Oh,
and we were just like fixed on Victoria. And Melanie C.
she pulls focus, but also...
And Melanie C was already at the door and like came over, and we met Melanie C at the same time. But
That's so funny. I love also technically you met three
yeah. So that's
Wow.
So that's my celebrity story.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that she like acknowledged and said hello. Like that's quite nice.
What a great way to do it.
And also feels like, Posh Spice. It's quite anti her character or whatever, like a persona.
Yeah, and I think that is her. Like I think the persona of Posh Spice is such a laugh for her.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I would say she's a very funny, relatively down to earth person.
See, I have a theory on like, so when I was a high school teacher, right? And as a young teacher, you often get like, the kids will see you get automatically put into the box of like cool teacher or whatever, because you're the young teacher. And I always obviously I like to have a laugh in the classroom, but I was quite like strict.
Yeah, okay.
And quite like, we've got, you got to come to school on time, have your books, you got to have your pet, and I'd support them. I'm not like yelling at them or whatever.
Sure.
Like if a kid didn't bring their book, I would always have spare books. But I was very like, boundaries, strict. Because I just never liked this idea of like, if you're like this loosey-goosey, like, oh, hey, everything goes. Because then like, where do you go from there? You just go from there to even like, just lax, lazy territory.
Yeah.
Whereas it was actually, I think, a special thing for kids to have these boundaries and respect. You always start there. And then like, it was a special treat, at the end of the year where like, or during a special time in the year, like, when maybe kids are finished their exams and like they don't have to like fucking study so hard. I'd like do a thing where I'd bring my Nintendo to school and hook it up, and then they could play like games and stuff. Yeah. And for them, they'll be like, what the hell? Like, this is crazy. Like, wow. It's you go from being this strict like authority figure to be like, oh no, there's like kind of cool. So it's almost like, Posh Spice is like, she's such a diva, or she's like this and that, but no, she can go from that to this, the modulation.
Under promise, over deliver.
That's what I think. That's so awesome. And I'm sure it's closer to who she actually is, obviously, as a person. But I feel like, teachers, because I would see that I worked with these cool teachers, and I just like, part of me, I was like, oh, it's almost like borderline inappropriate. Like, you're there to do a job, you're a teacher. Yeah. Like I think it's totally fine to be, you're a teacher, you're strict, you got these rules. And then, a little bit like, you've done all your work. All right, then you go on your phone. Like then they're like, oh my God, like this is awesome. Like,
it's the treat as well. Like it's. Did your parents strict or chill or?
I had a very strict, like it's like an Asian thing, especially with like Koreans, like education's next to God. Like it's like this big thing. So funny, like they didn't want me to grow up in Korea because it's actually super severe over there. It's funny, they have this thing, right? For the university entrance exams, they always tell the kids there to aim for the sky. And you're like, oh, that's quite aspirational. Yeah. But it's actually literal, because SKY is not the word, it's an acronym, SKY. It stands for Seoul University, Korean University, and Yonsei University. They're the top 3 universities in Korea. And so what they're not saying like aim for the sky. They're saying, you better get into the top 3 unis.
Wow.
In Korea, you're a piece of shit if you don't. So it's actually really severe over there. Yeah. The level of severity is like So when they have, it's called Sunung, which is the national exams, just like the HSC in New South Wales. But this is how serious it is. They have a listening exam they do English as one of the mandatory subjects over there. And then the listening component, it's like an hour where they have to listen to dialogue and then, write. They stop all air traffic over Korea during that 1 hour on that day of national exam.
Wow.
All the flights, they do have no flights.
Wow.
So there's no
flight path. Yeah.
No sounds to distract children from their listening exam. Isn't that hectic?
Crazy, but kind of cool.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It gets even to the point of if a kid is running late, they'll literally post police officers in cars on the road. So if they see a kid running towards a school and it's close to the exam time, the police will get the kid, be like, come into my car, sirens on, and they'll escort, zoom down to get to the exam. That's how much they worship education. So I'm very glad that I went to high school in Wollongong.
Doing Rock Eisteddfod.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just a bit of this, it was definitely but then again, my parents still had to be strict because they were brought up in that context.
Yep.
But yeah, I appreciate it. I don't think I achieved that academic, the heights that they wanted, but it was a good balance.
Yeah.
Did you have a strict?
Yes and no. So my dad, he's pretty chill.
Cool.
My boyfriend says that he will never ever believe me if I say that my dad's not stoned.
That's the vibe.
That's the vibe.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's a chiller.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we being my brother and I, became a bit, well, at least I was a bit lax. My brother was much more disciplined than I was. But my stepmom, my grades were starting to slip and she went, right, we're buckling down. And thankfully for her, the last 18 months of year 11/12, I turned things around because I was not going, I was definitely on a downward slope.
Yeah.
So but I hated it at the time. And,
of course,
but very, very grateful for it now.
Yeah, it's funny, it's so funny that we do when we're younger, boundaries are suffocating, paralyzing, but they do help out. I feel so grateful to have had that because I know some mates who had a sort of more free and lax upbringing, but they are so they're sadder and they're despondent because it's just lack of direction. They feel that they didn't have, those guidelines growing up, and it's it actually stresses them out so much to be put into structured things and stuff. And obviously you can change and grow as you go, and it's different for every person. But just as my experience as a high school teacher, it's so funny that kids are in that stage where they are pushing boundaries. They're literally pushing boundaries. Even when you tell them not to swear in class, but they know that you swear, and they're like, well, why? How come you get to swear? My rule with the kids was I try and flip it. I'd be like, guys, you have to understand, a swear is a beautiful, magical thing. And you want to it's a resource and you want to use it at the right time. If I was swearing all the time in the classroom, it would just not be as fun when I tell you to fuck off to your face at the end of the year.
Yeah.
It would get a laugh.
Great.
But it would tell them, words have power and it's a resource that can be used to your advantage, but it's a time and place thing.
Sure.
It's a time and place thing and the boundary of that. And I feel they really sort of enjoyed that explanation of it more than just being don't swear. Why? Because I said so.
Well, I feel you've already kind of given 70 pieces of advice already, but we may move on to the official advice that you've brought along with you today.
I'd love to.
So Harry Jun, what is a piece of advice that you swear by?
A piece of advice that I swear by is I think you should cull your friends. Which I don't mean that to sound like you should murder your friends. That's crazy. I mean, it sounds so aggressive. I mean it more that to me, friendship is so precious. And there are so many people that like I'm friendly to, and like that's as far as I'll go. But to me, friendship, like for me to call someone my friend, like it's like someone that I'm going to be there for and will be able to help. It's not just like someone I'm polite to and just, say hi and like this and that. It's like someone that I would actively help. If they message me, I'm like, yes, I'm going to do what I can to help you. And I've just found as I've gotten older, there are definitely more people that I'm friendly to than I am friends with.
Yep.
And it can be confronting, but sometimes you do just need to be like, oh no, this is someone that I like and someone who I'm friendly to, but I might not be able to say that they're my friend. And the sort of inciting incident for this was that I had a friend who, went through something really, really tough, and I had to like take care of them, and I had to take leave off work and like this. But this is like my closest
Sure.
friend. But it really made me think like, oh, like friendship is such a beautiful and precious thing that sometimes we bandy this around. Oh, you're my friend. Oh, we're friends. Yeah, we're friends. But like at the end of the day, like there are very few people that I would be like, no, they're my friend. I'm going to be there for them. They're going to be there for me. And there's also, I think we should up the value of like, I don't want to say acquaintances, but people that like, you're friendly towards and, you'll help out. But like some people, it goes the other way where like they're kind of disrespectful to you. Like it's okay to stand on business, put your foot down and be like, oh, I don't think we should hang out.
Yeah. So this is very, very timely advice for me in the sense of I'm having I wouldn't say necessarily a tough time, but it's something that I need to get better at is culling of friendships, because there are friendships that aren't necessarily serving me that I will get upset about because they won't text back or they will cancel last minute or whatever the reason is. And I will carry that hurt or that annoyance because, and it obviously, it's not just a one soft thing and I throw my toys, but there's a trend or they're kind of showing their true colours. However, I'm romanticising either the past or a version of themselves that may no longer exist. And I have a real challenge of disconnecting or culling and accepting that, okay, cool, this friendship isn't what it once was, or it's not going to be serving me in a productive way. I need to make peace and let it go in the wind. And I'm really struggling with that at the moment.
It's so hard because obviously, like you said, it doesn't have to be this dramatic, like, we're not friends. You don't even have to say it.
Of course. Yeah.
But it's because it's like, it's a self-actualization of like who I feel like I am in regards to this person. And then also there is the action side of like, well, okay, if I've made up my mind that I don't regard them as my friends, maybe they'll text you.
Yeah.
Then what do you... What? So then do you act a bit more cold? Like sometimes you do need to, not explicitly say, but in a subtle, maybe implicit way, kind of show that, look, I don't have time for you. Like it's so okay to value yourself and your family and friends that actually, care for you and you care for, when these other people like, so like transactional, or they're like, it's like this one-way thing. But it's so hard. It's really, really hard.
And what's hard is like the shoe being on the other foot, because there are absolutely examples where I haven't necessarily given someone the time that they are necessarily seeking, and it's nothing against them. It's just on a list of priorities. I have deprioritized this relationship, this friendship. Is there a way of being kinder or more clear, or do you just need to kind of make peace within yourself that you've kind of made this decision and they need to figure it out for themselves?
I think it's the latter. I think it's like each of us, it is really sort of, it's an exercise in sort of projection as well, because sometimes when, like you said, like I do that too, where I don't get back to, certain people.
Yeah.
And then then reverse it again. How do they feel towards me doing that to them? But it's like, we all sort of have to sort out our who we are and our self-worth, and then how that sort of then bleeds into the connections we make with people. Because to be honest, like for the people where I might not sort of rush to, reply to and hang out and help with, like that, I think they do know that that's the relationship we have.
Yep.
That's the friendship that we have.
Yep.
And I mean, I lean more closer to like, and I'm happy to do it, but like I want to help as many people as I can.
Yeah.
But the whole culling your friends thing is, maybe it's just me getting to a stage of my life where I'm like, there are really important people to me who deserve my time.
Yep.
And deserve my energy. And it's a lot. It's actually a lot. Like, I recently got engaged, and it's like, that's a priority to me. And I don't think anyone who I consider my friends will be like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah.
You prioritize Jill over us? Like, no, yeah. If you know me, you know that I will. Like, that's the decision I've made. So that role switching, the reversal is so important for empathy and like understanding the dynamics of the relationship, because there is an element of guilt. Like if you were to reverse it, like, this person's always been there for me.
Yeah.
And then if you're like being a bit lax, then that guilt should tell you, no, put some more effort into it.
Yep.
But I think it's totally okay. I'm really like I really support people. There's so many kind people out there that are giving so much. Yeah. I really want to support. That's why when I say cull your friendships, it's to these people who are overextending so much and then getting hurt. And it's like, I just want to be like, no, you deserved a bit more. And don't do a dramatic bridge burning.
Yep.
But just, do you know what? Don't reply.
Yeah. Yep.
Put it on the back burner.
Yep.
Don't reply.
Yep.
Put you first, and that's okay. And get used to that. I think get used to putting yourself first. It's hard.
It is, but it's important.
Yes.
And it is something that I am working on.
It takes time,
So the example that I always go back to, because it was a very humbling but again very important lesson, was a mate, someone who I considered a really close and long-term friend, was getting married, and we had dinner. Like he just gotten engaged, and we had dinner, and I was asking about the wedding. It was kind of coming up, and all of these questions, and then I didn't get invited.
No.
And I have always, because I've seen people get married, and I know, at least I have a fair degree of understanding of how stressful, expensive invite lists can be for weddings. And I've made this thing to myself going, I never want to be the person who throws his toys if he is or isn't invited to a wedding. I don't want to be that guy. But I think what I was most upset about was I thought we were at least close enough to go, hey, Andy, I would love to have you along. It's just getting a bit expensive. We want to have a small wedding. It's going to be mostly family, whatever. Like, even if there's not a reason, but just an acknowledgement of, hey, I'm getting married. At the stage, you're not invited. Maybe you could be, whatever it is. And I never got that chat. And that really burnt me. And
That's so valid, though.
And I'm like, okay, cool. There's actually an asymmetry to where we are in each other's lives, and I need to address that, because that asymmetry is hurting me.
I'm so sorry that.
No, this was years ago, but yeah.
That is such like, at least communicate, because then, as you said, like, you guys should have been at the level of like, if I wasn't invited, then you could at least tell me that, like, and give the reason. Yeah. But I think you know what? In terms, again, for advice, I think this is a good exercise. Like, don't just cull your friends. Yeah. Imagine, and even if you've already, gotten married, but imagine you're doing a guest list for your wedding. Yep. And then your friends, think about who is, not going to be on that list. Totally. And then think about how you would communicate and why you would communicate with that person. Because, like, I think you deserve to be told. Yep. Because I think even if you weren't invited, the act of them telling you, like, oh, look, like, I would love you to be there, like, that's, I think, enough to show that they respect the relationship. Yeah. Yeah. And I know it's like, whatever cliche. It's good that you have had that now and that you can realize.
Well, it has now set me up for if I'm not invited to someone's birthday or whatever, I put it through the filter of, would I invite this person to my birthday? Would I invite them to the wedding? It kind of helps me go, oh yeah, cool. I wouldn't invite them to the wedding, so I can't be upset that I'm not invited to XYZ.
See, exactly.
So it kind of helped me build a test, if that makes sense, in my head of what to get upset about and what not to.
And I think it's so valid because it's like there are moments, and I felt that too, where you're just like, oh, I thought I'd be invited to your wedding. But the funny thing is, it also, have you ever like experienced the opposite where you got invited to a wedding and you were like, oh.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's very sweet.
Yeah.
But it is funny how it goes the other way too.
Yeah,
hey?
totally. Yeah.
You're like, oh, are we that close?
Yeah. Who else is going? Which table am I going to be at?
But it's still, obviously, it's still nice.
Of course, yeah.
But that just goes to show how complex the whole friendship and sort of how like one way it can be. Like you assume that, we're this close and they assume, you're this close and sometimes you just don't know. But I feel like, obviously, and this has been said since the dawn of time, like communication is key. And on weddings, like Jill and I, obviously we're planning ours, and like the guest list thing is really hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Yeah.
But we're definitely going to be telling people that, who I think it's important to know who expects to be invited.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because then those are the people you'll be like, look,
Totally.
Because I've had that done to me. People will tell you.
Yeah.
And it's totally fine, but it is so important to respect the relationship like that.
And the added pressure of you being a comedian, who's going to MC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, because I know so many good ones. It's gonna be hard.
You don't have to say, but yeah.
No.
Yeah. No, I love this advice, mate. This is, green lit.
Yeah, I hope, it's going to be hard, but like, give it a go.
Yeah.
Do some culling.
Yeah. Are they serving you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. So we might move on to the advice that presents itself as good, but you actually think is bullshit.
Yes.
Yes.
I think fake it till you make it is awful advice.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry to those who live by this as gospel. I just feel like it creates a false economy of, like it overvalues confidence and delusion, and not enough. Like with confidence and delusion can come like discipline and sort of like a tenacity. And I feel like those get overshadowed by this idea of faking it. It's just like, oh, like I don't know how to do it now, but like I'll just keep going. It's like, no, don't even worry about like, of course you don't know how to do this thing. You have never done it before. But fake it till you make it is just good because it rhymes.
Sure.
Like there's just not a good enough rhyme for like, just keep working hard and repeat and like experiment and then believe in yourself. And you'll succeed. That's so unsexy.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it. But like I applaud the spirit of it. Like it's, back yourself and do all the stuff. But I feel like there's just a bit of like the showbiz side of faking it and like trying to like value the appearance of working hard and all that stuff. I just don't think that any of that matters. Like really it's an understanding that this is going to take a long time, but the fuel is that I love what I'm doing, right?
Yep.
And not to be all like, oh, just love what you do and everything will be fine. No, like it's hard. It is so hard. And the whole fake it till you make it, I think can get misattributed to certain people. Like, oh they just faked it till they made it. Like, no, they worked so hard.
Yep.
And it's not luck. Like they failed for 5 years.
Yeah. Took years to be an overnight success.
Yes, exactly. And I just want to, if the advice is fake it till you make it and you want to just keep doing that, then by the time you've made it, it's because you faked it. Like you're just looking back like, oh.
So where to begin with this? Because this is very, very close to my heart. And I'll start with the confidence piece. So confidence for me is it's something that, so when the reason I got into comedy, or one of the reasons I got into comedy, was I got a promotion at work and I was required to present more. And I was a really nervous, anxious public speaker. I would be fine in conversations, but if you put the spotlight on me in a board meeting or whatever, I would crumble.
Wow, really?
Yeah, absolutely crumble. And so I, rather than do like a Toastmasters or whatever, I signed up to stand up, did comedy at ITS, loved it, kept going. So that's kind of one of the main reasons why. But I see some performers, and this isn't to diminish the work that they put into it, but they're just naturally much more comfortable on stage. Still to this day, I'm not 100% comfortable on stage. I'm absolutely streets ahead of where I was, but it's still a constant skill acquisition training, where I stand, how I hold the mic, watching my ums, all of that stuff. And so people who might be faking it till they make it and they get away with it, I couldn't even if I tried. And because I think doing the thing is hard enough.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste energy or time or whatever faking doing the thing, because only by doing the thing will I get good at the thing.
Yes.
And so I know that my journey is probably going to be, well, my journey is going to be my journey, but comparatively, which we shouldn't do, it might be a bit slower than someone else. And it might take me a little bit longer to book the stall or whatever it might be. But I'm okay with that, because I'm just putting in the stage time, getting the minutes up, working on my writing, just slowly moving at my own pace.
Yeah.
And so I do, and I would be lying if I said I look at people who absolutely crush on stage. They might have started comedy after me.
Yeah.
Because they just have that natural. It's kind of like the 5'5" basketballer having to work harder than necessarily the 7-foot basketballer.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I see myself. Doesn't mean it can't be done. It will be done. But I'm just going to work extra hard at doing the right thing rather than worrying about presenting an image that isn't necessarily authentic.
But the thing is that I feel like I so relate to that.
Yeah.
Because I think that your way of thinking and approach will help you last like longer. Like
Sure.
some people, the fake it till you make it, I think way of thinking can cause quicker burnout because sometimes you don't make it quick enough. And also you've just faked it. Like it's not a quick enough return on investment. So you see people drop off quite precipitously because, you know, they've kind of peaked so early and they're like, well, what next, you know? But I actually relate to, I feel the same. Like I've had to just grind and grind and grind. And the thing is, it's so funny because when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
Like I'm very lucky that very, very recently that I've had people like buy tickets to my shows. But again, people don't know that. They ask me how long I've been doing comedy. Like I've been doing comedy 9 years now.
Yeah.
And like, it was pretty flatline until literally this year.
Yeah.
It took that long. And that's why I'm so grateful, because it does take that long, I feel.
Yep.
And I may have been one of those people that if I'd been getting the numbers I'm getting now, which isn't massive, but if I was getting the numbers I'm getting now from the very beginning, I would be scared to see how I could get like, you know, better with not as much experience. But now I feel comfortable that I've earned it. It had to take this long.
Yep.
And like, you know, like you said, comparison, whatever, and how long, that doesn't matter. But where I feel in terms of like the validation of the effort that I put in and how long it took and everything, like I feel proud because it had to have gone how it went. Totally.
I completely agree, and I'm very proud of the path that I am, the methodical, slower, arguably, path to just learn the craft and all of those things, because that is essentially why I am, like, one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's only in those low moments, which we all have.
We all have.
Yeah, which you kind of go, oh well, fucking.
Oh,
yeah. But I can identify going, that's not serving anyone. Just take that time that you're allocating to that person over there, and then write another joke. Or
the thing is, and also like I think it's important to acknowledge and accept. Like I feel that we all feel that,
yeah.
And I just don't believe in people that are like, no, I don't feel jealous.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's okay, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Because I feel, and it's just that you just shouldn't inflict your jealousy on other people.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it should go inwardly, but I feel that all the time. I'm seeing people who are my friends doing so well, and it's like, well, actually, then let's think about why we feel this way. And then you're like, well, what can I do? What can I control?
Yeah.
I just got to keep doing what I'm doing. And it's like there's no, if there was a blueprint to success, we'd all be successful.
Totally. Yeah.
It's just, I think it's so important to, like, whatever stage we get to, feel so grateful that people are choosing to support us.
Yes.
Because like nothing's changed in my like appreciation for my crowds for when, like, I literally do a joke about it in my hour this year where 3 people came to my first, no, it was actually 2 people came to my first ever hour in Melbourne.
Yeah.
I had 2 people.
Yeah.
And it was rough because they didn't know each other. So they sat at the opposite ends of the first row.
Yeah.
So like I had to do comedy doing like I was an umpire at tennis. And it was so demoralizing, but I was still appreciative.
Yeah.
I was so appreciative. And now I'm grateful that the numbers are a bit higher, but I'm still the same amount of grateful that people are choosing to support me. It just bloody took 9 years.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I had a similar moment semi-recently where a guy came up to me on a dance floor. His name's Tyrone. And he said, hey, I just wanted to introduce myself and say I'm a big fan of the podcast.
Oh, see, it's beautiful.
And I'm like melted into a puddle.
Yeah.
And it was just such a really, really nice moment. Hi, Tyrone, if you're listening. But it's also that Victoria Beckham of
yes,
like being grateful for your fans or like people who are engaging with your content or whatever it might be.
Because it does take a lot, I think, to go up to people.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, but go up like, and I always reminded of that because again, you do that flipping, the role reversal thing, like. How often do you see someone that you really enjoy? And like it's you feel a bit nervous, but also you're thinking in my mind, I'm always thinking, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to bother them. But for them to like come up to you and really show that appreciation is so nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
So well deserved.
Yeah,
like,
thank you, mate. Yeah, no, and I've been like just from a like fellow creator, comedian, etc. I've been quite vigilant of if I see something I like, I'm so like try to just say it because I know how it can make someone's day. Like so
that's really I think that's super important. And actually, another bit of advice. Sorry for too much advice. I had a friend who told me, and I try to do this. Sometimes she gave me the advice that. Sometimes when your mind wanders and reminds you of a person that you haven't talked to in a long time, but you have a fond memory of, I try to message
that person.
Right?
Beautiful.
It's such a nice thing and that happens to me. And I'm just like, man, so do you know what? Maybe this will offset the culling of friends. Sometimes you have friends that you do adore and love and, but you just have fallen out of touch with. The friendship went in some kind of hibernation, but you can always rekindle and reconnect.
Totally.
Because it's so lovely to receive those messages and send them. It's really important.
Yeah. Yeah. Send a message to a long lost friend, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who did you think about when you said that? And that's who you should message right now.
Yeah.
Mate, I couldn't agree more about fake it till you make it. Let's into the bin. Sorry, this has been quite a cathartic episode for me. I mean, I'm getting a fair bit off my chest. You've definitely,
awesome.
You're pressing all the right buttons. But shall we dive into a listener dilemma?
Yeah, let's do it.
So we've got a listener dilemma from Tom.
Tom.
I have a friend who agrees to plans and then cancels all the time. Sometimes they give notice, but more often than not, it's last minute. I can't prove it, but I get the feeling I'm the backup option until something better comes up. Do I call them out, stop inviting them, or accept that some people are just flakes? Or do you cull them?
I cut cull immediately. I reckon cut. Oh, look. Out of those options, like calling them out is probably the most sort of mature and productive thing to just, obviously not aggressively, but sort of draw the line. Be like, hey, like you flake so much. Maybe you could even add a little bit of venom and say, look, I don't even know why I bothered inviting you if you're just going to flake last minute.
Yeah.
But what I think that comes down to, because, you know, in these group friend dynamics, you've got the organizer. And I know how stressful that role can be because I've been that role where you just like, this person, I think whichever, all your friend groups, I want you to message the group chat, tag the group organizer and just say thank you.
Yep.
Because it's a really tough role. And Tom sounds like the organizer.
Yep.
I really empathize with how stressful that is. But I think it's totally fair to put your foot down and say, hey, I'm putting effort into this and you just keep flaking. You're out. If you're out of the group.
That's it.
You've been culled.
Yeah.
If you're not going to come. Look, I also want to be aware of like there can be sort of extra like context, like, you know, mental health stuff can often, you know, cause us to want to withdraw. Sometimes we get anxious and we can only make that decision last minute. I get that, but also respect the friendship, respect the relationship. Tell the friends that, you know, and also understand that that's taking up bandwidth.
Yeah.
They're taking up, and sometimes like fiscal resources. You put a booking in for a wonderful restaurant, they'll ask for a deposit that goes per head.
Yeah.
You know, that costs us $50. Like that's costing us time, money, energy. But like, I don't know. We just came off the back of me saying, cull your friends. So what do you reckon?
So you touched on something that I'm a firm believer of. It's knowing your roles. And I always go back to, there was a great interview that has stuck with me for close to 20 years of Hamish and Andy. Hamish and Andy were talking about their success, and Andy Lee is genuinely as funny as Hamish Blake is. However, he knew that the diamond, or at least they were told, or they knew themselves, that the dynamic didn't need two loose units. They needed the kind of the straight guy, and they needed the loose unit. And that chemistry is how, and it's not that Andy's not the person he presents on air, it's just a different version of himself.
Wow.
And then like on a night on the piss or whatever with other mates, he can be the loose unit. It's all very authentic. And I've always remembered that because it's know your roles in the context that you're in. And it's just, if you are the organizer, then that's your role as the organizer. If you don't want to be the organizer anymore, that's okay, but you kind of need to, there's a bit of an onus on you to say, hey guys, I'm just going to step back for a bit.
Yes.
And to your point, always thank the organizer. There's I call it who's the person taking the garbage out on the Airbnb group holiday.
Yes,
it's that person.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. You don't need two people doing it.
No,
it's a one-person job. But how can you thank that person?
Yes.
Are you driving down? Are you sorting the playlist, are you whatever it might be?
That's it. And you know, like you said, if you're getting sick of it, if you are that person, you're getting sick of it, step away. Yeah. But it's your right to say, hey, you know, I don't want that. But you know, for Tom's specific scenario, I think it's totally fine to call it out.
Yep.
And say, look, this is, you know, it's starting to get stressful, and there's a pattern.
Yep.
There's a repeated pattern of behaviour.
Totally.
And if it is like, you know, worth like some care and like, you know, obviously approach with TLC, but I fully understand that last minute flake. The last minute flake. And like I've done it too. I'm not going to be,
we all have.
We've done it, but
it's when it's the exception versus when it's
it's just a repeated thing of it. You're like, and that's a tale as old as time. I know so many people who've got friends who are like, oh, this person, you know, they roll their eyes. They go, oh, this person's never going to come. They'll say they come, but then they'll come.
There's a certain level of charisma that someone has, and they are usually the flakiest people that when you're not with them, you are like grumbling under. But the second you're face to face with them, it is just butter wouldn't melt. You're having the best time of your life.
It's like personality height, like a personality friend. It's
I was just like, and this is back to my point before. I have these friends who, when I am actually face to face with them, I have the best time.
Yeah.
But in order to get to that point, it's Lord of the Rings, like trip to Mordor. Like it's such a journey.
Blood on a stone, just really, yeah.
Oh. But I would say, chat, like, if it's bugging you, Tom, bring it up. Or kind of, before you're diving into water, just kind of assess if there's...
Risk assess?
You risk assess.
Risk assess.
Yeah.
But also don't be afraid to put that boundary up and cull.
Totally.
You know? Like, no, just maybe try not inviting them one time, and then maybe that's the wake-up call they need to be like, maybe I didn't value this friendship enough. Like, I'll commit this time.
Yeah.
The thing that will frustrate me, and I know there's people that do this, is that they hedge their bets with social outings.
Yep.
And that's why they drop out. Because I remember this happened. I found out this happened. I had a friend who's the flaky friend.
Yep.
Realized they were flaking because there was like a better party.
Yeah.
And if it's that, Tom, cull them.
Yep.
Don't even give them the chance to defend themselves. You cull that person.
Yeah, cull that person, but also, Tom, very important, be grateful to the people who did show up.
True.
Don't spend the night angry because this one person didn't show up. Have a good time with the people who you're with.
I love that this is like the angel and demon on Tom's
No.
shoulders.
Like, because I completely agree with you. However, like, I once got called out, and this was years ago. I once got called out where I didn't say it in this way, but the suggestion was like, I think it was a housewarming or something like that, and I said, "Oh, where is everyone?" And it really hurt one of my friends who was there.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, I'm here. Why aren't I? And I'm like, you're so valid. Apologise straight away. And it has stuck with me since.
True.
Going, be grateful for.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, of course, like the people that do rock up, I kind of over-focused on this one person. I want them to come.
Yeah. So, and mate, when you get back from Edinburgh, you've got a show touring around?
I've got in Sydney Fringe, 18, 19 of September. I've got a bunch of like extra tour spots across the country.
Nice.
For my show this year. Super excited. Would love to see you there if you can.
Yeah, awesome. Well, mate, thanks for joining us at the Bureau.
Pleasure.